What happens when yes and no dance in the same void? When fire and ice kiss in the mirror of the possible, and time collapses like a sandcastle into the tide of the eternal? The traditional mind is a river that insists on flowing in a straight line, ignoring that meanders are where treasures are hidden. But you, traveler of chaos, do you dare to navigate the abysses of paradox? To embrace that truth is a prism that shatters into 1,000 truths. In the laboratory of the sacred, particles of contradiction intertwine in a quantum waltz. Here, yes and no are not enemies, but two wings of the same bird learning to fly in a spiral. What growth is there in rigid certainty? What art flourishes in the garden of the predictable? Creativity is an act of cosmic rebellion, breaking the molds so that light can filter through the cracks. Questions that challenge the universe. How can we embrace the shadow without losing the light? Is it possible to love darkness like a mirror that reflects our depths? What happens when the I and the you dissolve into the we? Is love the only equation that can resolve the loneliness of the individual? What growth is there in rigid certainty? Isn't the fear of being wrong what stifles the seed of the new? The art of mental flexibility. A flexible mind is a tree that bends before a hurricane, but its roots sink deeper into the ground than possible. It's not a question of surrendering, but of transforming resistance into dance. What would happen if, instead of fighting contradictions, we invited them to sit at your table like old friends? The table of life always has room for one more guest, and the best feast is the one that blends opposite flavors. When you accept that the world is a puzzle without instructions, you stop looking for answers and start creating questions. Spirituality is not a destination, but a journey in which each step is an act of faith toward the unknown. What would you do if you knew that your greatest growth lies in what you don't yet understand? Would you dare to walk toward the light you cannot see, just because you feel its warmth in your soul? This text does not seek to convince you, but rather to awaken the fire you already carry within. Share these words if you feel the universe whispering to you. Truth is not an endpoint, but a spiraling beginning. And you, what contradiction will you embrace today to expand your soul? If this text resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that mental flexibility is the bridge between the human and the divine. Or would you prefer to save this seed to grow in your inner garden? The choice, as always, is an act of alchemy. How can we integrate the acceptance of contradictory ideas into our daily lives? What practical examples are there of how mental flexibility can improve creativity? How traditional understandings can limit our capacity for innovation? What additional benefits can accepting contradictory ideas bring to the professional world? How can we measure the improvement in mental flexibility and creativity after adopting this attitude?